What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to go through this fairly quickly. I'm going to try to do a quick review on how to actually make an orthographic projection. So the first assignment for the week is OP-1. We're going to take this isometric view and we're going to turn it into a top, front, and side view, which is called an orthographic projection. All right, so the first one we're going to bring in, the file I'm going to send everybody is actually going to have a render on it, but it's not going to have the measurements. So if you want to have this, what I would do is probably zoom in a little bit, and then I would just do a screenshot, Command-Shift-4, click and drag around here, and then what you'll be able to do is bring this actually into your draft site file. So that's what we're going to try to do. I'm not going to worry about the limits, grid, zoom, and snap just yet, but we'll get into that. So here we go. Okay, so when I email you the file, you're going to open this right up and make that bigger. And the tool matrix. What you're going to notice here is that the render is right in here, but if I actually make this a little bit smaller here, and I'm going to X out of this, I don't really need that now. If you want to bring in your screenshot, like right here, you can click and drag this right in. And then you're going to see it's got a set of crosshairs here and the spinning wheel of death, which is always fun. But what you'll be able to do is click and drag once that screenshot goes in there, and then enter, and you're all set to go. So I don't need two of them. And the reason why I'd bring this in is because you're going to be able to see the measurements fairly quickly. So let me delete that. I don't need that anymore. Okay, so over here, you're going to see right now that I've got a layer that's set up, and the layer is called projection. So if I look at this, these are just projection lines. They're standard lines. And what I do, I use these to help set up the different views because the views need to be kind of lined up to help with measuring. So I'm going to take this isometric view and break it into three separate views. And the first thing I'm going to start with is trying to dissect the front view. So I need to understand the measurements. So the measurements here, it's a rectangle with a rectangle on the interior. And it's 3 inches wide, 1.75 high, and there's another rectangle in here. And they're telling you the location of it. They're not actually giving you the size of it. They're telling you the location of the different corners. So that's fairly easy. One of the tools we've used before is offset. So I'm going to keep this layer on. Later on, I might want to change these layers. I've got the 0 layer, the demo layer, and the hidden layer. So we're not there just yet. I'm going to keep it in the projection layer. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use offset. And the first thing I'm going to do when I use offset is I'm going to set my offset to the total width of the rectangle, which is 3. So 3, enter. And I'm going to click on this line, and then I'm going to offset it over here. Perfect. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is offset the total height, and that's 1.75 or 1.75. So I'll set that to 1.75, enter, and I'm going to click on this line right here and click on that. Okay, so the total outside perimeter of the front view is basically done. I'm going to keep this for now. I'm not going to trim anything just yet, and I'll change things over. Now, I need to separate the views, and I think the rule of thumb, by separating the views, we don't want them touching each other. We should put them at the very least 2 inches apart. So again, I'm going to offset 2 inches just to set up my top view and my side view. So I'm going to set that distance to 2, bring that in and up and over. Okay. So it's starting to look like a lot of lines. So what I can do here is sort of clean things up, trim out stuff I don't need. So I'm going to get rid of this and this for now. And obviously I don't need this or this yet either. And I'm going to get rid of these and just delete them. Okay, so what do I do with these lines now that I've offset them? Well, the top view itself is only 1 inch wide, and that would account for the side view as well. So I'm going to go again and offset 1 inch there and there. Okay, so there's my top view and my side view, my right side view. Okay. Now again, what I can do is get rid of things I don't need. So I'm going to highlight everything, trim, get rid of those, and get rid of these. All right. I'm going to keep these projection lines here for now. I'll trim them out later. Okay. Now what I would need to do is figure out, well, how do I get this interior rectangle? And how would I represent that in the top and side view? Well, those are hidden lines, but let's at least build this first one. So I want to do the interior rectangle. I'm going to use offset just like I did before to figure things out. So I know from side to side it's 3/4 and it's a 1/2 inch down, a 1/2 inch up. And that's what I'm going to do right now is use offset. So offset 0.5, which is 1/2. And I'm going to offset that down and that up. Okay. Now you'll notice that right now the bottom line offset up and it gave you a full line. That's fine. In fact, if I click on this and drag this over, I'm going to want that. All right, so after offsetting, I'm just going to drag this up. Okay. Now these are pretty much set up now to finish out. So this goes back to the layers. All right, how do I create hidden lines and how do I make these object lines and what should I delete? So now you're at the point where what you're going to be doing is just basically trimming stuff. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to leave these lines even though eventually they're going to be hidden. So I'm going to highlight everything and I'm going to get rid of things I don't need. So I don't need these anymore or these projection lines anymore. I'm going to get rid of those, and those. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a quick save. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put these into an object layer. So I'm going to highlight everything and I'm going to go right up here and I'm going to bring these up into the 0 layer. Okay, and once I hit escape, you'll notice that they change color. So this is going to change the line value. Now obviously in the isometric view, we don't have to have certain line types like a hidden line, but in an orthographic projection, you have to show as much detail as possible in the 3 different views. So that being said, looking at this side view, okay, I don't see that there's a channel cut through, and you wouldn't see that because you could see it in the fact that it's at an isometric view. However, in an orthographic projection, it's a 2-dimensional view in the side view. So I can't show these as object lines, but I need to show them as hidden lines. So I'll highlight those 2 lines and I'm going to bring those into the hidden line layer and you'll see how the lines change. I'm going to do the same thing with the top view. Bring those into the hidden layer and then I'm just going to do a quick save and be all set. Okay, so that is the first OP1 orthographic projection 1 drawing that I want you to try to figure out. Take your time with the video, go through, pause it, work on it, and then what we'll do is we'll have you do a screenshot and put that into your actual assignment. Okay, definitely email me if you have any questions, but most importantly, just watch the video. It kind of gives you a lot of direction, and I think getting through that will be fairly simple. Okay.